Variety called Tiny Beautiful Things a theatrical hug in turbulent times. Returning to the Actors Bridge stage for the first time in 7 years in the lead role of advice columnist Sugar, Nashville treasure Vali Forrister. Vali, we are so glad that you're here today.
Thank you, Chuck. I love being with you.
Well, it's always a pleasure. It's our pleasure. So I have to start off first by, what was it that got your attention on this one, that you kind of waited 7 years and now this has got you back on stage? What was it about Tiny Beautiful Things?
Well, I got to see the premiere of it at the Public in New York back in 2017. And when it was over, I couldn't get out of my chair. I was so moved and touched by it that like my legs wouldn't work. And so that's a sign that it's a play I want to do at Actors Bridge. And then when I thought about the content and how badly Nashville needs stories like this, I knew it was a great Actors Bridge play. And it's very rare these days for something to come along that I really see myself being in, because it's a challenge to do my artistic director job and be in a play. But this one just connected with my personal story on so many levels that I knew I had to do it.
Well, and you know, when I saw that you were doing this, I thought, well, it has to be special because, like you were saying, you're so busy with all of your artistic duties, you know, with Actors Bridge. So I said, this one must be really something special for you to say, hey, I want to do this one. So give us a little bit of background. You said you saw the original production. So, I mean, this has a great backstory as far as the writer and, of course, Nia Vardalos from A Big Fat Greek Wedding, who performed it. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Nia Vardalos read the book and saw instantly how it could be a really powerful play. And it takes place in Sugar's living room and kitchen area, and she is talking with the various letter writers. They sort of take up residence in her home, and she talks with them while she's also going about the work of being a mother of small children and making lunches and doing laundry and also revealing the deepest truths about her life in an effort to help others on their journey.
And in this, you said some of the characters in it, so I think you have 3 actors that are playing a multitude of characters, and they're doing some of the correspondence with her. Are they interacting?
Yes, they interact with each other some, and then, of course, constantly with Sugar. And it's a great acting challenge. You know, these actors get to play lots of different kinds of people over the course of an 80-minute play. It's going to be a lot of fun for the actors, and I think for the audience as well.
And tell us about Sugar, your character.
She is raw and brazen and just deeply, authentically honest. And she tells it like it is. She can be kind of confrontational and in people's faces 1 minute and tender and compassionate the next. But there is so much love that comes through everything she is saying. Even sometimes it's tough love, but it's everything she says is done with love.
Now, of course, with your duties as artistic director, you're around actors all the time. You're teaching actors constantly, interacting with actors. But what was it like for you? It's been 7 years since you've been on stage, so I know you guys are in rehearsals right now. So what's this journey been like?
Well, you know, it's scary. It's really scary to be, you know, it's memorizing lines. I'm on stage the entire time. And so it may be the biggest role I've ever had. So I threw myself in the deep end for sure. But that's, you know, being scared is part of it. That's part of the fun. If you're not scared, you're probably not taking a big enough risk when it comes to acting and being on stage. So it's also exhilarating to feel that sense of I'm pushing myself to the edge, and I have this great group of people, the actors as well as Leah Lowe, that I feel really safe with, and I know that they are going to be giving me things back. And that exchange, Meisner talks about the pinch and the ouch, that is so important in acting. And these actors are up there with me, able to give me the pinches and ouches to
That's
make
great.
this success.
And you said Leah Lowe is going to be directing this. So also, this must be really gratifying, the fact that this was set to debut in 2020, right before you guys announced your season, 2020, and then it hits. But we are so glad that you're doing this, and we just want to make sure that people know all the details. Tiny Beautiful Things, of course, is based on the book by Cheryl Strayed, who wrote Wild, adapted for the stage by, we were talking about, Nia Vardalos from Big Fat Greek Wedding. Vali is leading this cast. We can't wait to see it with Clay Stakely, Joy Pont, and Josh Inakala. April 1st through the 3rd. The 6th through the 10th, Actors Bridge Studio, and you can get your tickets at actorsbridge.org. So we're looking so forward to that, Vali. Vali, are you up for a game? So kind of test a little theater game with you?
Always.
Okay.
Chuck, I'll play a game with you.
All right. So this is This or That Theater edition. So here we go. Just whatever strikes you. I know these are going to be tough choices, but we just want to kind of hear how they strike you. Okay, here we go. The songs are the first category. Defying Gravity from Wicked or One Day More from Les Mis?
One Day More.
It's Quiet Uptown from Hamilton or Wait for It from Hamilton?
Wait for It from Hamilton.
You Will Be Found from Dear Evan Hansen or For Forever, Dear Evan Hansen?
For Forever.
Seasons of Love from Rent or If I Loved You from Carousel?
Seasons of Love, for sure.
Good Morning Baltimore from Hairspray or Suddenly Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors?
1 minute.
Suddenly Seymour.
Okay. Don't Rain on My Parade from Funny Girl or Popular from Wicked?
Popular.
Okay. Now I'm going to go to the which one category. I've got 5 here for you. Okay. So this is Barbra Streisand. Which one would you work with if you could only work with one? Barbra Streisand or Bette Midler?
Bette Midler.
Audra McDonald or Lin-Manuel Miranda?
That's not fair. Audra McDonald.
3 seconds.
Sutton Foster or Hugh Jackman?
Hugh Jackman.
Okay. All right. There you go. So, Vali, we can hardly wait to see you. You're returning to the stage for the first time in 7 years. We are looking forward. We will be there on the front row. So thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Chuck.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Out and About Today. Thank you for joining us. Actually, we've got one more segment coming up. You know what? I do want to let you know, though, to get your tickets for Tiny Beautiful Things, go to actorsbridge.org, and when we return, the intriguing history of the Pride flag. And there's how you can go to Tiny Beautiful Things.